Yo, what's up everybody, KingGBL here, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a run I made in the Open Great League from 3126 all the way up to 3250. Whenever Great League came back this week, I had a pretty negative run from 3420 I believe, all the way down to 3080. I climbed up a little bit, and with this team, I climbed from 3126 all the way up to 3250. So I gained roughly 125 elo with this team. Highly recommend it, and it's a very classic team composition. Azu in the lead, with Sandslash and a fighter in the back. Typically this team was Metacham. Of course Metacham is pretty dead in the Open Great League meta, so it's going to be Annihilape for today. I really like this team composition because Azu of course resists counter, Annihilape double resist counter, and of course our Sandslash, if it gets onto Annihilape, it's just game over basically. So having those two options there is really useful, and as you're seeing here in this first game, we get an Annihilape in the lead. The really great thing about this team is if you get an ape lead, it's almost a guaranteed win, because basically all you have to do is just let your Azu go down, right? Come in with your own Annihilape, get a farm, just shield whatever they throw, do a Rage Fist, and you basically just beat the rest of their entire team with your boosted ape. Typically, ape lead means that they've got two Pokemon in the back that are weak to counter, so it's pretty much GG's at that point. Also, I think Azu just doesn't have that many hard counters in the meta. Like, the worst thing that you're going to see for Azu in the meta is what, like Steelix maybe? That's not even bad for Azu. Charge Bug, that's not really bad for Azu either, like a grass type. It's double super effective ice beams against jump bluff. Azu doesn't really have any bad leads if you think about it. Drapion, it's perfectly fine. Like, the only thing that's really bad for it is Toxapex, of which you've got two answers to. So yeah, I found Azu to be a very nice consistent lead, and I do recommend trying out this team. As you can see here, the opponents get Bastion on. I've talked about Ape, I've talked about Azu. For today's video, I really want to put a focus on Sandslash. I think this is a Pokemon that you used to see quite a lot, but it's kind of sort of slipped out of the meta. It's on Powder Snow these days, it used to be in Shadow Claw for probably the Azu matchup itself. But Powder Snow, of course, works really well for the Mandys, the Clodsires, the Diggersbys, and all that kind of stuff, Drapions as well. So that's definitely why you want to have Powder Snow. But I found Sandslash to be really good in the back. Typically, whenever you see Apes and Talonflames, you oftentimes see them in the lead. You see a lot of the Mudslappers in the lead as well. Things like Marowak will be in the lead, as you've seen in this match. You do, of course, get things like Slap Hole and all that kind of stuff. But generally speaking, I found that most of Sandslash's counters were in the lead. As you can see in this next battle, Shadow Ape. We'll see how this differs to the normal ape. So we're going to go straight for Ice Beam here. We're going to go for Rage Fist. You don't really need to go play rough here. If you just land the damage of Ice Beam on them, put them into a farm down range for your own ape. And we typically get 1 or 2 shields here. It's a very nice matchup for Azu. And you don't really let the opponent farm you down as well. You can take the second one from the Shadow Ape. Rage Fist coming through. We'll get this move off. The opponent can go for a catch if they want. They go for catch and Bibberol. And look at this now. Bang. We come into our own ape, and we're just about to start feasting on this thing. The opponent will go for a Surf here. I decided just to, of course, shield it up. We're going to be so far ahead in energy. And typically, like I said, ape lead comes with 2 things that are weak to ape. So, like, the opponent's in just such a bad spot. I think they just concede the match here at this point. It's always really nice when you use a team that basically core breaks common stuff in the meta. Anyway, I forgot to mention it. If you're still here in the video, we're about 3.5 minutes in here, I think, at this point. Drop a like in the video. It's absolutely appreciated. It is absolutely free. Come on, drop a like. Come on. Just do it. Quickly, pause the video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed, quickly do so. I'd very much appreciate it. Big thank you. Especially if you're going to use the team. If you leave this video with my team and start using it without dropping a like in the video, that's a disgrace. That's an absolute disgrace. All joking aside, I appreciate everybody tuning in here to the video. I've not been uploading too much recently, honestly, because I've kind of lost interest in shoutcasting battles. Even whenever I reached 3400 and something, I was like, I don't even care about uploading this. I just streamed it. So it's like, whatever, I'll just leave it up as a live stream. Really been enjoying the streams as well. I definitely think Go Battle League has got a little bit stale at the moment, especially because the mechanics are kind of broken. A lot of one-turn lag, a lot of one-turn bring-in, a lot of denies, all this kind of rubbish. Frame drops are probably still hanging about here as well. Just a lot of inconsistent mechanics. By the way, look at this battle right here. This is a really good play by me. I catch the fly, the opponent comes into their chestnut, I throw this move right away, on CMP basically, to the superpower. This doesn't quite knock them out, but the good thing here is, right, they can look to take me out, I can farm them down, and we can actually possibly come away with a win here. Since we caught the fly, it's going to be 2 incinerates to the next move. I got 2 counters on the chestnut, so that's a really good play there. You would think, like, coming into a Talonflame with Sandslash, it's not a recommended play for the most part, but it turned out pretty well that time. We get a 4-1 in the first set, and in the next battle we get somewhat of a core breaker here. I think we have to stay in. We've got 3 answers to Diggersby in this team, so we can basically put our Azu wherever we want. And we resist all of their charge moves. They decide to shield the first move, and we're going to look to take the Liquidation or X-Scissor. X-Scissor is definitely the better move for damage here. Both moves are resisted, of course. The opponent wants to get a debuff. to increase their Shadow Claw damage, but generally speaking, X's are a little bit better in this matchup for them. We go for, once again, another player off. If the opponent decides to let this go, I think we're in a fine position just to kind of let our Azu go. The opponent's going to build up to back-to-back moves. I can't really afford to shield this, and they're in a pretty nice farm down range. If I can just farm it down with Sandslash, we might be in a good position here. The opponent's going to get off another X, there's a lot of luck to take out the Azu. Like I said, we've got 2 answers to Diggersby. We don't need to hold alignment. We get a perfect Powder Snow down, that's perfect for us. And the opponent comes into Corsola. Now, in this matchup, I made a slight mistake. Basically, whenever you're playing this match out like normally, right? Say, for example, it's Sandslash versus this in the lead. I believe you go straight Ice Punch. Double Ice Punch is enough to basically knock it out with Powder Snows. And the opponent ends up shielding there. As you can see, like, it is getting into Ice Punch range, or even below Ice Punch range. So if you ever get Corsola, you can basically go straight Ice Punch. And Powder Snows plus Ice Punches will be enough. I think if I was trying to knock it out from full health, I could have been going for drill runs. But look right here, we've got the opponent really low. We've got a full health Ape and we've got a Diggersby. This is absolute GG's. Once again, it's really nice countering the meta, and you can see that we're triple strong into Diggersby. If we get a sort of awkward safe swap or whatever, we don't have to keep the Azu on there. We've got 3 full answers to it. Of course, Sandslash, not really a super hard answer, but like 2 Ice Punches knock out a Diggersby generally. You do need to get the Powder Snow damage free, but that's a pretty fine matchup for Sandslash, especially if you're up by a Powder Snow. Ape, of course, destroys it, Azu destroys it, so knowing that the opponent's got a Diggersby on their team just gives you a lot of flexibility. You can basically choose where you want to put your Pokemon. Diggersby and Toxapex are often paired together as well, so you have to be a little bit careful. If the opponent gives you an option to put your Azu on something that's not a Toxapex, you more often than not take that opportunity and try to play that match out. Anyway, the opponent comes into Typhlosion, pretty cool Pokemon. I was running this Pokemon last week. It's really fun, but it's not good, I'm going to be honest with you guys. In this meta, it's just super glassy. Too many water types, too many mud slaps, unfortunately. The opponent brings back in their Gator. Feraligatr is somewhat of a core breaker to my team here, because Azu doesn't really deal with it that well, Ape doesn't really deal with it that well. It's ideal if you have a Ape that wins CMP against Feraligatr, generally speaking, because you need to be able to deal with it some way or another. Now this is going to be quite an interesting play here. Where do you see this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We both go for the catch. God damn it, bro. Okay. Actually, I went for the catch in 4. The opponent was 4 off the move. So they bank the move. I basically have to build up to back-to-back, but I've given the Goodra a massive energy lead. We just about make it to 2 Ice Punches. I need to keep this Ice Punch. Does this knock out the Goodra? Yes, it does. We win CMP on the Feraligatr, or they get denied or something, and that's going to be good games. So me and the opponent had the exact same idea. I think the opponent was anticipating my catch. I think that's why they played it like that, because catching an Ice Punch on a Goodra is not really the best of ideas if you think about it. I of course wanted to catch and then commit to the farm down. I knew that I wasn't able to Powder Snow down from that range, so definitely quite interesting. And speaking of interesting, this is an interesting lead. The opponent catches on Clodsire. So I think at this point I bring in, or maybe I'm staying in with Azu. I guess I'm staying in to go for an Ice Punch. Do I decide just to stay in and play this out fully? I think I actually might end up doing that. I think I stay in and just sacrifice the Azu and come in to get a huge energy lead with Sandslash. We're able to see what move it's on. I guess that's what I'm going for here. Because I know that I've got, of course, the Ape for the Walrein. I guess I decide to commit to a farm down with the Sandslash, commit with a bunch of energy. They go for Stone Edge for some reason. They actually aggro pivot back into the Walrein. This is perfect for me. I'm going to let this go. I know it's just going to be an Icicle Spear. It will do a lot of damage. I'm basically happy to take it. I've got a lot of energy in Sandslash. We know the opponent's got Clodsire. Oftentimes Walrein is paired with a Grass type. So they get off the Icicle Spear. I'm going to let this go. We're going to trust in Sandslash at this point. The opponent's pretty far off a move. I can farm up just an absolute ton of energy. I probably could have CMP'd the opponent. I was half anticipating them to go for a catch at this point. They decide not to. They go for an Icicle Spear, and then they come into Superior. I've got 100 energy. The opponent's got a shield, so we sort of have to play around this a little bit. We're going to commit to the farm down, I think. Clodsire, they baited me. Walrein's very, very low, so they're not going to get off another move necessarily. All I need to do is not throw the move in Walrein. I'm looking at the top right and waiting to see what comes in. The opponent comes into Walrein, trying to basically bait me into throwing the move onto it. I don't fall for it, and that's going to be good games. We get Azu versus Azu, the most exciting matchup in GBL. Basically, some need to knows about this. I've probably explained this to a lot of you already, but in case you've never seen this matchup or don't really understand how this match plays out, you go straight for player-offs. You never go for Ice Beam at any point, as far as I know, unless you swap out at some stage. Basically, if you want to know who's going to win the matchup, it's always very close. Player-offs do slightly below 25%, I believe. I think it's like 24.7% or some bullshit like that. It's some weird number. Let's just call it 25%, right? Whenever you reach the red health, as you can see, we're both in the yellow. None of us are going to die to this move. Yep, so you survive. If you're in yellow health, unless the opponent's got an extremely attack-weighted Azu, you will survive that move, and as you can see, it's a simul KO. If you ever see that your opponent gets into the red first, or you get into the red first, that means that the person who gets into the red is going to lose the matchup. In comes Mandiboz, which isn't actually that horrible for Ape, and in comes Drapion. I'm going to go straight for Ice Punch. Even if they call the bait, I can basically farm it all the way down. I'm not even going to build up to it this time. I'm ahead in energy. I'm going to call that they go for Aqua Tail here. The opponent does go for Aqua Tail, and we're in a very, very dominant position now. I think even Ape at this point with Ice Punch, by the way, should be able to deal with Mandy. This is definitely well worth a shield though. Powder Snows are going to add up a lot on the Mandiboz. We'll farm this all the way down. We can basically set ourselves up to 1 and fro and Ice Punch here. And I can even just let my Sandslash go at this point. We've done a lot of damage to it. I actually come into Ape here. I can take an Aerialist very easily from Mandy. They're not on Air Slash, so they're not going to farm me down too quickly. It's just neutral damage from a very bulky, tanky Pokemon. Not too worried about it. I actually can make kind of a funny play here. So the opponent looks to get rid of me here before I get off this next move. I shield. I'm like, okay, I want to take you out with Ape at this point. The opponent's going to be dry after throwing this next Ace. Sandslash can deal with it, and that will be curtains for the opponent. Mandiboz is in quite an interesting spot in the meta. Mandiboz, of course, is a really good Pokemon, right? But there's so many Azus, man. Drapion's kind of half decent into it as well. I don't know, it just feels like there's a lot of things that are kind of bad for Mandy now. Like even Toxapex. Like, Mandy doesn't have very convincing matchups is what I'm trying to say. You've got Charmers to worry about. The occasional electric that you might see, the odd bit of ice coverage or whatever. Mandy feels like it should be better than it is currently, but it's just not that great, it feels like. I've tried using it in a few different teams, and it just feels a little bit underwhelming. Yeah, we go straight for the Ice Beams. We're 2 shields up with my own Ape. This is curtains. Basically, like, this is curtains. GG's, thanks for playing. Unless they've got Ape and Charmer in the back, which is very rare. They actually come into Toxapex, which is probably, like, better than average for an Ape lead. Oftentimes, they just don't have anything close to good to Ape. Toxapex not horrible into us, but as you can see here, like, we're just ramping up. We're going crazy. We're going crazy. We're not messing about. We're shielding up the Ape. We're going to try to plow through this, and we're going to be having a great time here. The opponent will get off a last second move. I catch it on the Azu. This is kind of a little bit of an awkward play, because that allows Ape to potentially come in and farm this down, and I think the opponent gets a perfect farm down. Oh, actually, they don't quite make it. I think the opponent, had they committed, they would have made it. I come in with my own Annihilape again, go for the Rage Fist, and once again, we're just going to start plowing through the entire team. Toxapex comes back in, we farm it all the way down, and you know it's going to be Diggersby in the back. Good games well played. Annihilape, Toxapex, and Diggersby was a pretty common team on PvPoke, or like earlier in the season you've seen that team a lot. Once again, Diggersby lead, fantastic lead. They come into Drapion. Whenever I get a Drapion safe swap, I tend to stay in to take a move of Azu, throw an Ice Beam, and then probably go into Annihilape. I think that's definitely the way to go here. You could come straight into Sandslash, but I feel like it's a little bit ropey. Or you could come into straight into Ape, but it's a little bit ropey as well. Because if you do this way, you can basically just take this move. I think I actually do shield the move because I know they've got a Diggersby, right? They end up coming into an Emolga of all things. Shout out to this opponent for the spicy team up. This is High-ELO, by the way. This is around 3200 ELO. The opponent's running Emolga. Emolga is a very cool pick. Definitely core breaks quite a lot. As you can see, they absolutely wreck me with that discharge. I call that they won't go for acrobatics there. We get off another move, and we're just in a great position here. Basically, Sandslash is going to sweep this match. I'm going to go for the extra, expecting a catch or whatever. I'm going to call here that this discharge won't do too much damage. We still have a full-ass Azu for the Diggersby as well. So the opponent's just got nowhere to go, basically. The opponent goes for a catch here. I'm perfectly fine with this. 2 Ice Punches from 100% health don't quite knock out Diggersby, but it basically gets it to the point where Azu can bubble it down or whatever. I'm happy just to let the opponent throw the energy here, or in fact I just go for a catch. Doesn't even matter at this stage. The opponent anticipates the catch, goes for an extra 2 and fro, but we can just farm down the Emolga. Good games well played. Very cool team by the opponent. And it's like I said earlier, if they've got Diggersby, it's just curtains for them basically. Fantastic lead here. Fantastic in the sense that we're not going to see this on Annihilape, and hopefully they have something in the back that's weak to it. Also fantastic in the sense that they probably have Gastrodon in the back, right? We're going to probably get our Ape on the Gastrodon. If they've got Gastro and Wiggly, they might have Driftblim, or we get our Sandslash. So we're pretty happy to see this. The opponent actually ends up going for a catch. They do catch on the Gastrodon, and I'm thinking, perfect. We can put our Annihilape here, right? I'm going to stay in with the Azu, force the energy, put our Annihilape here. We're not going to switch lock ourselves in this situation, right? Force the opponent to dump the big move here. They go for Body Slam, doesn't matter. We come into Ape. And we're not going to shield this move, and we're going to completely trust in the Sandslash to sweep the match. Earth Power me, daddy! Earth Power! Okay, they go for Water Pulse, that's perfectly fine. I'm just going to go for Rage Fist straight away. Hopefully they don't shield here, that would be kind of like a little bit fucked up. But yeah, they come into Wiggly, they come into Diggersby. Oh, okay, this might be a little bit awkward, actually. Now, I think we're fine. I think in the 2-shield scenario, I think we just win this. Yeah, the opponent lets the first move go as well. We just commit to a farm down at this point, and we don't have to shield anything from Wiggly. Had the opponent shielded the move and went for a potential catch later on, this could have been getting a little bit hairy, but the fact that the opponent let the first move go made it a lot easier for me to decide what to do. Just 2-shield farm down. We can just 2-shield farm down the Wiggly as well. They can go for Icy Winds, Swifts, whatever they want. And in the last battle, as you can see, we're facing a previous champion here, High-ELO. He's got a Steelix lead on my Azu. Not great, we do have sort of decent answers here, and he comes into Air/Slash Mandibles. We farm all the way up until he gets to 5, go for an Ice Punch. We'll look to see what we can do here. I'm thinking here at this point, okay, this is not great for me. I'm going to let this go. I'm going to come into my Sandslash, and I'm going to get a huge energy lead with Sandslash. I just need the energy on the Steelix. Obviously, the obvious thing to come into is Azu, right? But I just decide, they've got a Steelix, I'm going to get a huge energy lead. They actually aggro pivot back into their Steelix, so I think I've ended up making the correct choice here. I go for Ice Punch bait. I think that was a good bait there. I don't normally like baiting stuff like that, but I think that was a good situation to go for that. They go for Psychic Fangs, of course ramping up their Thunderfang damage, and at this point, I can't really afford to stay in here. Because the opponent pivoted out like that, it makes me think that they might have something else that's weak to Sandslash in the team. So I'm going to come into Azu, I'll take the Psychic Fangs here. They actually come into a Superior, this is perfect for me. And actually, kind of to my surprise here, the opponent decides to shield up the Ice Beam. I thought they might have kept the shield for the Sandslash here at this point. We do make it to 2 Ice Beams, and you know, this match looks like it's completely over, but this is not completely over yet. High-ELO's a fantastic player, he's going to overfarm to the maximum here. He's going to try and make this as awkward as possible. He goes for Ace, I don't allow him to get the farm down, we pivot out. He ends up going for an Ace bait because a Frenzy absolutely wrecks Sandslash. I'm not going to get caught on here. I'm going to farm the Mandy the whole way down. We're going to look to go for back-to-back moves before we get to this because the Superior actually banked a move before the left, and we're going to go for CMP tie. So very, very good battle there. Good games well played. And like I said, folks, we're going to get all the way up to 3250 with this battle. Highly recommend this team. It's a very classic team composition with Azu, Sandslash, and something that resists counter. I think you need a Fighting Ghost. I think it works better with a Fighting Ghost. It helps cover Azu's weaknesses a little bit better with a Fighting Ghost, but of course a normal Ghost type could definitely work with this team. By the way guys, we're just posting the team in Discord. If you guys want early access to the teams that I do well with, feel free to check out our Discord. We have a fantastic community in there as well, so feel free to join. Big thank you everybody for watching. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Smash a like, subscribe, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.